Well, welcome everybody. We're excited to be here, my colleague Suzi and I, with another episode of Continence Chat. I think you're going to find this conversation very, very insightful. We have a couple of guests with us today from the law firm Gibbons and Neuman out of Tampa, Florida, Sierra Daigle and Liz Allen. And Sierra, Liz, as a way of getting started, would you both mind just sharing about your background and your current role with the firm?
Okay, well, I'm Elizabeth Allen. I'm one of the partners and owners of Gibbons Neuman. We're in Tampa, Florida. Been around since 1984. I've been practicing now for 36 years. I'm an elder law attorney, estate planning. We do probate. We kind of do like cradle to grave sort of processing. But I have a master's degree in elder law, which is another degree above just getting my JD from law school. I started out doing more insurance litigation. I was a trial attorney, and then decided I kind of had my fill of judges and attorneys. So went back to school, got my LLM, and I do elder law primarily. So most of my clients tend to be, not the 25-year-olds. And as we age, we have different concerns and different things that, become important to us. So from a professional standpoint, I love being an elder law attorney. Personally, my mother and my stepfather, I am no different than anybody else, in the society. I was the sandwich generation where I was taking care of my aging mom and stepdad while I was raising my daughter. So, I had to deal with the issues we're going to be talking about today, the incontinence, how do you deal with an aging parent when you're trying to take them around, make them so that they don't feel uncomfortable or embarrassed, bringing that into my office and understanding that, a lot of my clients are going to have, some of these same concerns and issues. So it's kind of what I do.
Super. And Sierra, we crossed paths at a networking event, and I just think with people in senior living, what a valuable resource your firm and yourself are.
Thank you very much. So my background actually before law school was gerontology. So that's more the social side of aging. It's a more holistic approach. And I worked in assisted living, specifically memory care, before deciding to go to law school. So across many different settings, I've had experience with people who experience incontinence across my many roles. When I went to law school, I decided to go specifically for elder law. I really just fell in love with the one thing and stuck with it. And now we work with a lot of people who are either special needs or older. And we find that a percentage of that population does experience incontinence in some way, whether it's as a caregiver, caring for a loved one, or the person themselves. And that's something that we consistently have to bear in mind in the work that we do with our clients.
Wow. So that's very interesting to me, like even deeper in the weeds, that you have a background in gerontology and then became an elder law attorney. Like, kudos. I think that's amazing. I know we were talking offline just a few minutes ago, and you had mentioned that there were just a few or a handful across the country of law schools with specifically for elder law.
That's right. Yes.
Do you think, I'm just curious, other teammates that you have met or colleagues along the way, and maybe Liz, you might have some insight on this too. Do you think people, like your path seems unique to me, but I'm not in your industry, but I think it's great. But how do most people end up as an elder law attorney? Do you think they start there or they pivot there?
Well, my experience is, there are a lot of frustrated litigation attorneys out there. We just kind of get fed up and say, you know what, I want more of the personal contact with clients, less of the hassle of the courtroom. And frankly, elder law, it's got to be the most rewarding area of the law out there. It's very personable. I mean, it's, you really, these clients become, I mean, you become almost attached to them. You're so kind of wrapped up in helping them out and everything. And the littlest thing that you do means so much to them. And so it's a great area to do. So I think for most elder law attorneys, you just got to have that. You got to have that empathy, that compassion to begin with. This is not I just want to make money area of the law. It shouldn't be. It should never be, because we're talking about our family members. It's not a commodity. We're not buying a car. We're dealing with our loved ones, and usually when they're in, serious, having serious issues. So, but those are the two that I see.
Okay.
I don't know about you.
I would say most of the elder law attorneys that I've spoken to ended up there by accident. I'm pretty rare in starting off in the elder law arena, which is exciting because I just have so much more time to learn. By the time my friends decide to come join the dark side and help with elder law and assist us in planning for our loved ones. But I will echo what she says. It's extremely rewarding. And then I'll also echo what you said. It's our job not just to do the documents, not just to give legal advice, but to be a resource to our clients. And that's one of the best things at the end of the day when somebody comes to us with, they have their issues and we can legally fix some of them. But there's also the other thing going on in their life, weighing them down, that we can say, hey, look, we network with assisted livings, we network with caregivers, we network with all of these people. We know who we can send you to. We have a relationship with them, and that's something that just takes a huge weight off their shoulders. So it's one of the best things ever to just make someone's life a little bit easier when they're going through it like that.
Yeah, that's great. Oh, go ahead, Suzi. Go ahead.
Now, I was just going to ask, do the incontinence issues play a role in accessibility or in hearings that your clients may need to participate in?
Well, I mean, I can tell you in terms of how my office is set up, we have a ADA compliant bathroom right next to our main conference room. It is so common for the clients to get halfway through and go, wait a minute, I got to go to the bathroom, and it's fine. I mean, that's what we do. We've got a couple of bathrooms. The ADA is nice because a lot of our clients are either in wheelchairs or walkers, and they have, an adult child or whatever with them. So the adult child can help them to whatever extent that they need. So, in terms of, and I mean, I'm assuming other elder law attorneys hopefully have the same kind of setup for their office, but I know we do, and it comes in so handy with a lot of our clients. Things that, the typical attorney who has a client come to their office never thinks of. It's like it doesn't matter where the bathroom is because the client will get to it. And it's like, nope, when my client says they got to stop to go to the bathroom, they got to go.
They gotta go.
Yeah.
And we also are able to go out to clients, which is something that not all attorneys will do. So if somebody has an issue, maybe if they're in the hospital, or maybe if they have incontinence issues and just making the drive to our office is going to prove to be too difficult, we offer that. So it's one of those ways where accessibility is not just them coming to us, it's us going to them. And then in terms of hearings, I was fortunate to be able to clerk with the guardianship court, the 13th Circuit, during my time in law school. And the magistrate I was working under at the time had said that it was really good for Zoom hearings to be so prevalent. This is just post-COVID. So he was saying that a lot of the people that he was seeing who either had special needs or were older could access the court system much more easily. I mean, you do have the hurdle of technology, which can be a bear for any of us. But for these people, it makes a difference to go to the courthouse, to find parking, to get into the courthouse and go through their whole screening system, find your way to your courtroom, sit there, wait, not know where the restroom is. It's a difficult process. And for someone with special needs or someone who's older, or someone who experiences incontinence, it's a really big challenge. And that's something that might even prevent someone from pursuing, whatever justice they're seeking, whether it be guardianship, whether it be family law. It spans all areas of law.
Wow. I was going to ask you, for viewers that might not know exactly what an elder law attorney does, what would, and maybe this is, you tell me, are there 3 or 4 main items? I know there's a million that you would address, right? But I'm just trying to look like, what would the top 3 things be that you find a lot of people need help with? Is it estate planning, or is that the younger years? Is it guardianship? Or like, I'm just curious for viewers that may not know what an elder law attorney does.
So there's estate planning, which, there is no real age that you can start doing that. It's not just for older adults. It's not just for people with young children. Everyone does need to have an estate plan, because you never know what unforeseen circumstances might come up. But there's also, Liz can speak more on it, but long-term care planning is something that we see a lot of as well as elder law attorneys.
Yeah, I mean, elder law is a very big umbrella term. And within elder law, there are some attorneys that do certain parts of it, like some don't do guardianship, some don't necessarily do special needs planning. But when I think of elder law, it's estate planning, because again, when you start getting older, start getting health, the possibility of health issues, your concerns and the issues that are important to you change. And our documents are going to look a little different than your typical estate planning attorney who's doing something for, the 25-year-old who just has a child. There are certain things that we want to see in their powers of attorney. There are certain things that we can do with their wills or their trusts, so that if long-term planning comes in the picture, and that could be needing to get them on Medicaid, some other kind of governmental benefits, the VA has programs that that also pay for long-term care. We incorporate all of that stuff within the estate plan, so that any type of planning technique, hopefully that may be needed, will be taken care of. So we're doing asset protection as part of the estate planning. We do special needs planning. Again, probate is always part. I don't know of any elder law attorney who doesn't do probate. Because again, that's, when the client passes away, we need to help the family with that too. So it kind of, it's a broad term, but it's really focusing on the concerns of individuals as they start aging.
Gotcha. And as we're seeing a boom in people living longer, I imagine that's rippling out to your caseload as well.
Yeah.
Definitely, especially here in Florida, it's a big concern.
Yeah.
And I mean, the other part of it is we have the population is aging, but also the governmental programs and benefits that are available are becoming, unfortunately, more tighter and less. So it's, a little bit more to try to navigate these programs now.
Yeah.
But that's a different conversation.
Yeah, but I'm on the same page as you. I just picture people that are, with incontinence ties in, but elder law ties in, a lot of things ties in. But I just picture 2 85 or 90-year-old spouses living together, and one may have Alzheimer's, and the other one is caring for them. And I just picture so much going on with the dynamic of one person trying to help and provide care for their loved one, at the same time having to navigate, exactly to your point, what do I have for government programs? What am I entitled to? What is my estate looking like? My finance? I mean, it's a lot.
Yeah, I mean that was exactly my mom and my stepdad's situation. He had Alzheimer's. My mom was legally blind. She was using a walker. If they had to try to navigate getting on, I had to put them both on Medicaid. Luckily, I was able to get VA benefits as a program. I was able to do that. There's no way they would have been able to do that on their own. And a lot of people, and there's so much misinformation out in the public about what it takes to get on Medicaid, or what you can do, what you can have, what you can't have. Medicaid is a federal program. It's like an umbrella program, but each state has their own separate plan. So, just trying to get people to, Yeah, and that's part of the complexity, because by the time people are told, hey, you need to go see an elder law attorney, it's usually one of the spouses is seriously ill.
Yeah.
They've got, some serious long-term care issues going on, and they've been trying to take care of each other the whole time, and they're trying to deal with that. And now all of a sudden somebody's telling them, oh, now you're going to have all these financial problems. So, you talk about, just keep adding it on top of everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
For someone that would be looking for help, regarding they're out searching for an elder law attorney or law firm, what would be considered the ethical duties of an elder law attorney so they could know what they're looking for?
So there's a couple of sets of rules that govern attorneys. One is the rules of professional conduct. And what the rules of professional conduct do, I mean, it covers everything from confidentiality to billing practices to advertising. But one of the things in the preamble, and it's important when they put in the preamble because they know you don't want to read all a million sections of the rules of professional conduct, although they make you do it in law school. So don't worry, we've all read them. But one of the guiding principles of being an attorney is zealously representing our clients, pursuing their interests within the bounds of the law. And that's maintaining professionalism, courtesy, a civil attitude. So one of the things that it broadly encompasses is the respect and dignity of the client. And the way this ties in with, people who may experience incontinence is that we have a duty to treat them normally like any other client. We can't let this be an impediment to their representation. Additionally, we are both members of NALA, which is the National Academy of Elder Law Attorneys, and they have an even more stringent set of rules. It's called the aspirational standards, and it kind of takes a holistic approach to elder law. It considers the whole person. It includes a variety of factors in the way we interact and work with our clients, but advocacy for accessibility to accommodate for special needs, advocacy and promoting freedom from discrimination is another thing, and just how we can consider our clients' dignity, independence, and quality of life, and how we help to maintain and enhance that.
So, I mean, if I get calls from people or clients saying, hey, I need to, find somebody, whichever state it is. If they need an elder law attorney, frankly, personally, I tell them National Academy of Elder Law Attorneys, go on their website and you can put in a city or a certain radius or a zip code. Because again, if the people that are members of NALA, we're taking it one step further. We've got that background in dealing with older, with, again, more mature. As I get older, I'm not saying older anymore. I'm just saying more mature. But to be able to give the respect that the older individuals deserve. I mean, frankly, it's very easy to have the adult child and the parent in the room, and the adult child just kind of want to take over and answer for mom or dad. And as an elder law attorney, we're like, you're not our client. Your mom or your dad is our client, and it's our ethical duty. I mean, we're supposed to be treating the mom and the dad, it's them. So something as simple as that, as saying, nope, child, I don't need to have you answer everything. Your parents are fine answering on their own, and that's who I'm going to be talking to. It gives mom and dad the respect they deserve, the independence that they're entitled to. And that's the way, it should be, to the extent that we can do that.
Wow. I have a question for you.
Sure.
Well, Suzi, I'm going to ask you first, because I heard about this at a networking event and I was fascinated by the whole thing, but I'm wondering if other viewers. Suzi, have you ever heard of the Lady Bird deed?
No.
No. Is that just a Florida thing, or I think I had heard it was a couple of other states, but I'm wondering, I was fascinated by it, happy to hear it because I live in Florida and maybe I only know enough to be dangerous, but can you explain what that is, and is it a good thing or a bad thing? But I found the whole thing fascinating.
Okay. Well, so a Lady Bird deed, it's called a Lady Bird deed because the attorney here in Florida that kind of invented it, I guess is the right word, used Lady Bird Johnson as the, I don't know, for whatever reason, he used Lady Bird Johnson as the person. So it that nickname stuck. It's also called an enhanced life estate deed. We use that type of deed in long-term care planning a lot. Not every state has it. In fact, I think probably most don't. Some states have a different type of deed. It's almost kind of like a beneficiary designated deed. Frankly, I'm only an attorney in Florida, so I tend not to know what's going on in other states. I really don't want to. But in the state of Florida, the whole idea of it is that it applies to real property, right? So you own your real property for your lifetime. You don't give up any ownership rights, but the moment you die, your deed says who the property goes to. So we use it in elder law when for long-term care planning, because we can transfer property with real property without it having to go through probate. But for purposes of trying to get somebody on Medicaid, which is really the main program that we all deal with, it is not considered an improper transfer. Medicaid has certain rules that says you can't give stuff away and, all stuff like that. So that's the main reason that we use it. It is a good thing to use, but I'll tell you, it doesn't work in all situations. And it shouldn't just be something that somebody says, oh, I want to go out and get a ladybird deed. These are very specialized legal instruments that really need to see an elder law attorney to figure out, all right, is this the proper way to do it, or can something be done differently, or do you even need to do it?
Mm. I found it very interesting.
Yeah.
Because I thought if you're avoiding, and I was thinking from the perspective, but you bring a good point up about Medicaid. I had a grandmother that was up in Massachusetts in a skilled nursing facility for 6 or 7 years, and there were so many rules and regs and look back periods, and it went on and on of what you could. But when I heard about this, I thought, oh, avoiding probate for someone maybe that didn't have a will in place. Yeah. That I thought, wow, that's a nice benefit or whatever. So yeah, I just find it fascinating.
Yeah, I've used it for that also, in the non-Medicaid planning context. But again, it's just not something, we get calls, oh, I want a ladybird deed, and I have to have an entire discussion with the person to figure out what's really going on and whether that's, what should be done.
Yeah, that's because it's me on the other end. Say, go talk to Liz and Sierra about that ladybird. It's awesome. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm just kidding with you. I'm only kidding. Yeah. So good stuff. Good stuff. Sierra, how often do you go to networking groups? And I'm curious. I know you both mentioned serving as a resource is critical. I'm curious how often, because I'm seeing more elder law attorneys at networking groups, which tells me the population is changing. I think even at one recently, it might have been the one that we were at, there were more elder law attorneys, I think, than home care agencies. It was a shift. Which I think
roaches were everywhere.
Never go away. So good luck. I'm going probably at least at minimum once a week to networking events. The way networking events are set up, there's so many. I could be going every day of the week. Everybody hosts a little confections and chat or whatever it might be. So I'd say at bare minimum once a week to like a larger networking, but throughout the week it's peppered with various networking contacts, whether it's someone I met at a group saying, hey, Deanna, it was really great to hear you speak. I really related. I love, hearing more about Seni. That's not something I'd really considered before, but it's good to have in my arsenal and to maintain that contact. So I'd say at least one big contact and a whole slew of little contacts throughout the week just to keep my network alive and growing.
Yeah, that's awesome. Very cool. So
thank you.
If one of our viewers wanted to find you, reach out to you, what areas of Florida do you cover?
We cover the Tampa Bay area.
Yeah, and specifically, so if you're in Florida, Hillsborough County, Pinellas County, we can, we usually stay in those two. We can do Pasco, Sarasota, but it consider the Tampa Bay area.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate you being our guest today. I think this is very informative. And Sierra, I was struck by your insightfulness and just you know a lot. I didn't know that you had a gerontology background, but I just think if I'm looking for an elder attorney, wow, that to me is impressive, very holistic, which is great. So thank you very much. We appreciate you both being guests on the show. And Suzi, any final parting thoughts?
No, just thrilled to meet you both. And I'm thinking of an old saying somebody once said, if you think you need a lawyer, you probably do.
That's true. Thank you so much for having
Thank
us.
you.
We
Thank you
really
very much.
appreciate being able to be here with you.